Will Alabama win this battle with Oregon over recruit Jonaz Walton? Subscribe to the channel before the news. The competition for talent in college football is one of the most intense battles in the sport, and the Alabama Crimson Tide, as always, is at the center of the action. This time, the spotlight is on Jonaz Walton, a four-star running back who promises to be one of the standouts in the 2026 class. With the Oregon Ducks, Notre Dame Fighting Irish and other national giants in the mix, it's clear that we're looking at a choice that could shape the future of many programs. And if there's one thing Alabama does well, it's turning young players into legends. Alabama coach Kalen DeBoer has built his career at Bama. His strategic vision and ability to attract talent have kept the program at the top of college football. Now, with Walton in the mix, Alabama has the opportunity to further bolster its already potent roster. It's impossible not to think about the possibilities a player like him would bring to the team. The combination of speed, strength, and game intelligence that Walton demonstrated during his high school career is exactly the kind of attribute that thrives under the tutelage of DeBoer and his coaching staff. While Oregon is making waves in the race for Walton, there's something special about Alabama that few other programs can offer. It's not just about the football, it's about the environment, the culture, and the opportunities that Alabama provides. Tuscaloosa is a place where young athletes thrive both on and off the field. The support of the fans, known for their unwavering passion, creates a unique atmosphere that makes every game an unforgettable experience. For a player like Walton, who is looking to not only develop his skills but also make his mark on the sport, Alabama seems like the perfect fit. Of course, Oregon has its own merits. Dan Lanning has done an outstanding job in Eugene, and the structure of the program is certainly appealing. However, when it comes to tradition and consistent success, Alabama is in a different league. The national titles won in recent years are proof of that. In addition, the Crimson Tide has a dominant offensive line and a system that maximizes the potential of its running backs. Players like Derrick Henry and Najee Harris have already proven that Alabama knows how to get the best out of its talents in the running attack. For Walton, that would mean joining an ecosystem where he could flourish from the start. Another important point is the network of former Alabama players who continue to open doors in the professional football field. Young athletes dream of making it to the NFL, and few programs have the track record of putting players at the next level like Alabama. It's not just a matter of exposure, but of preparation. Under the leadership of Kalen DeBoer, the program has further refined its approach to ensuring its athletes are ready for the challenges of professional football. For Walton, that transition could be made easier by the competitive environment and winning mentality that permeates the Crimson Tide locker room. Of course, the final decision is Walton's, and he has a lot to consider. Visits to programs like Tennessee and Notre Dame show that he's carefully exploring all of his options. However, there's something to be said for the sense of belonging that Alabama offers. When you walk into Bryant-Denny Stadium, you feel like you're part of something bigger than just a football team. It's a community, a family. And for a player with ambitions as big as Walton, that could be the difference. As the recruiting process continues, Alabama fans are eagerly awaiting any good news. Regardless of the outcome, one thing is certain: the program will remain strong, as it always has. But it would be hard to deny the impact that Jonaz Walton could have on the future of the Crimson Tide. He represents not only a key piece for the 2026 class, but also an opportunity to continue the rich and successful history that Alabama has built over the years. College football is about choices, and Walton's choice will be closely watched by everyone involved in the sport. If he decides to don the red and white of Alabama, he will be entering a chapter that could define his career and perhaps add another glorious title to the Crimson Tide's legacy. The news that the Washington Commanders may be eyeing Alabama's standout Jihad Campbell to bolster their defense in the upcoming NFL draft is something that deserves to be celebrated by all Crimson Tide fans. It's no secret that Alabama has been a talent factory for the professional league, and once again, Kalen DeBoer and his staff are proving that the program continues to be a benchmark when it comes to developing players ready to shine on the biggest stages in the sport, and of course, a great credit to the long work of Coach Saban as well. Jihad Campbell is not just another name on the list of promising athletes coming out of Tuscaloosa. He represents exactly the type of player that makes NFL scouts and coaches keep an eye on Alabama year after year: athletic, versatile, and with a very high ceiling. When Daniel Jeremiah, one of the league's most respected analysts, lists Campbell as a first-round pick and compares his potential to Micah Parsons, one of the best linebackers in the NFL right now, it says a lot about the impact he could make at the professional level. The fact that Campbell is seen as a potential edge rusher is also intriguing. His ability to get after opposing quarterbacks has already caught the eye during his time at Alabama, and it's clear that his game has characteristics that can be molded as he progresses in his career. Of course, there are still rough edges to be smoothed out, but anyone who follows Kalen DeBoer's work knows that developing players with this profile is one of the coach's trademarks. He has the ability to get the most out of his players, especially those who have raw talent and need guidance to refine it. For the Washington Commanders, selecting Campbell would be a clear statement of intent. The team has struggled to find defensive consistency in recent years, and the arrival of Dan Quinn as head coach has brought a new perspective. Quinn has shown in the past that he knows how to turn long, athletic defenders into true quarterback pressuring machines. After all, he was the one who helped shape Micah Parsons with the Dallas Cowboys, and now he seems ready to do the same with Campbell. This connection between Alabama's style of play and the defensive system that Quinn implements is something that cannot be ignored. In addition, it is worth noting that Alabama has an impressive history of putting players on NFL teams who immediately become impactful. Jihad Campbell has all the tools to follow suit. His size, 6 feet 3 inches and 215 pounds, speed and playmaking ability are attributes that perfectly match what teams like the Commanders need to compete in a division as competitive as the NFC East. He not only offers physical potential, but also an aggressive and disciplined mentality that is typical of products that come out of Tuscaloosa. Of course, like any college player who makes the jump to the NFL, Campbell will have challenges ahead. The transition to the professional level requires more than just natural talent. It requires adaptability, resilience, and the ability to learn quickly. However, if there's one thing Alabama teaches better than any other program, it's how to prepare its players to handle these pressures. Kalen DeBoer has done an exceptional job of this, ensuring that his players are ready to face whatever adversity comes their way in their careers. For Alabama fans, seeing yet another player from the program being recognized as a first-round pick is a source of pride. It's proof that the hard work, dedication, and excellence that permeates the team's day-to-day operations continue to pay off. Jihad Campbell is yet another example of how Alabama not only produces great players, but also great professionals who can change the course of entire franchises. If the Washington Commanders do decide to select Campbell in the draft, it will be interesting to see how he fits into Dan Quinn's defensive scheme. It will be an opportunity for him to show the world that Alabama's legacy goes beyond college football victories and that its players are ready to make their mark in the greatest football league on the planet. For Campbell, this could be just the beginning of a brilliant career. For Alabama, it could be another glorious page written in its rich sports history. This is weird. The news that Rodney Cleveland, one of the most coveted defensive line prospects in the 2026 class, is no longer considering Alabama as a top option is a sobering and thought-provoking development for the current college football recruiting landscape. For a program with the tradition and prestige of the Crimson Tide, seeing a local player, especially one with Cleveland's potential, put other schools ahead of him may seem like a worrying sign to some fans. However, when you look at the bigger picture, it's clear that this is part of the fast-paced and highly competitive game that is high school recruiting. Rodney Cleveland, a four-star prospect from Parker High School in Birmingham, Alabama, is exactly the type of player any program would want on its roster. With his impressive physical strength, technical ability, and ability to dominate opponents on the defensive line, he has the potential to make an immediate impact in college football and eventually in the NFL. The fact that he is an Alabama native adds an extra layer of significance to the decision, as homegrown players are often seen as key to maintaining a program's dominance within their own state. Alabama has long had a reputation for attracting top talent, especially those who grow up in the shadow of Bryant-Denny Stadium. But that has changed in recent years. Competition among schools has never been fiercer, with programs like Georgia, Texas, Florida, and even Auburn investing heavily in bringing in elite players. This shift in the recruiting landscape means the Crimson Tide can no longer count on the state's best athletes choosing to wear the red and white uniform. Cleveland had previously committed to Alabama, but his decommitment in December was a reminder that in the recruiting world, few things are final until the signature is on paper. He now lists Auburn, Florida, Georgia, Miami, North Carolina, and Texas as his top 6 choices, a group that reflects both the geographic diversity and the quality of the programs vying for his services. Each of these schools offers something unique. Auburn relies on local rivalry and proximity to home. Georgia and Texas are notable for their recent success in winning national titles. Florida and Miami have rich traditions in Southeastern football, and North Carolina is an ambitious project under the leadership of Mack Brown. It's important to remember that recruiting isn't just about athletics, it's also about personal connections, academic opportunities, and the cultural fit each player seeks. Kalen DeBoer and his staff have certainly made an effort to keep Cleveland on Alabama's radar, but it seems other programs have been able to create a more compelling narrative for the young defensive back. That's not to say the Crimson Tide is losing its appeal, it's just that times have changed. Today's players have more options and resources to assess where they can thrive both on and off the field. For Alabama fans, this situation may seem frustrating, but it shouldn't be seen as a sign of decline. The program remains a well-oiled machine when it comes to developing talent and competing for the sport's biggest trophies. Additionally, Cleveland's inclusion of Auburn on its list of favorites serves as a reminder that the rivalry between the two programs is still alive and well. The battle for homegrown players like him will always be an important chapter in that story. On the other hand, this news also highlights the hard work that Kalen DeBoer and his staff have to do to continue attracting top talent. At a time when college football is undergoing significant changes, including transfer rules and the increased influence of the NIL, programs need to adapt quickly. Alabama has all the tools to stay on top, but the competition is fiercer than ever. A bit of an odd situation, but I want your thoughts at the end of the video, okay? The arrival of Thomas Fletcher to the West Alabama football program, led by Scott Cochran, is news that resonates with nostalgia and optimism for Alabama fans and college sports enthusiasts alike. Did you see it? The hire not only strengthens the bond between the Crimson Tide and its former players, but also demonstrates the seriousness with which Cochran is building his coaching staff in Livingston. Fletcher, a familiar name to Alabama fans, now assumes a crucial role as special teams coordinator and tight ends coach, bringing with him an impressive wealth of experience and leadership. Thomas Fletcher is not just another former player hired to fill a vacancy on the coaching staff. He was a key player in Alabama's golden years under Nick Saban, serving as long snapper from 2017 to 2020. During that time, Fletcher not only helped the team win 2 national titles, but also excelled individually by winning the Patrick Mannelly Award, given to the nation's top college long snapper. This national recognition is a testament to his technical excellence and dedication to his craft, qualities he will certainly strive to impart to his West Alabama players. Scott Cochran's speech about Fletcher reflects the respect the coach has for the former player's work and career. Cochran emphasized not only Fletcher's technical skills, but also his character and leadership skills. During his time at Alabama, Fletcher was part of the team's leadership team, a select group of players responsible for guiding their teammates on and off the field. That experience will be invaluable in his new role, especially when dealing with young athletes who are just beginning to shape their identities in the sport. Additionally, Fletcher's transition to coaching seems natural when you consider his journey after Alabama. He was selected in the 6th round of the 2021 NFL Draft by the Carolina Panthers, becoming one of the few long snappers to be drafted in the event. While his professional career is still in its infancy, his experience at the highest level of football will certainly enrich the West Alabama program. Fletcher knows what it takes to compete against the best, and that mindset will rub off on the players under his tutelage. Cochran's decision to bring Fletcher to West Alabama also reflects a growing trend in college football, the appreciation of former players who can serve as bridges between a program's glorious past and its promising future. Fletcher embodies that perfectly. Not only does he understand the culture of excellence that defines Alabama, but he's also committed to applying those principles in a different environment like West Alabama. That could be especially valuable for a program looking to establish itself as a competitive force in its division. For Alabama fans, seeing a former player like Fletcher take on a coaching leadership role is a source of pride. He is a living example of the lasting impact the program has on its athletes, long after they leave Bryant-Denny Stadium. Fletcher not only honored Alabama's legacy during his college career, but he is also helping to strengthen other programs with the values and lessons learned in Tuscaloosa. As Fletcher begins his new journey at West Alabama, there is a natural expectation that he will make an immediate difference, especially on special teams, an often overlooked area, but critical to the success of any team. His expertise as a long snapper and understanding of the nuances of this aspect of the game will be instrumental in elevating the team's performance. Additionally, his role as tight ends coach provides an opportunity for him to expand his reach and further influence player development. The hiring of Thomas Fletcher is more than just a strategic move on the recruiting and coaching chessboard. It is a reminder that Alabama's legacy transcends victories and championships. He lives on in the people who come through the program and take with them the values of hard work, discipline, and leadership. With Fletcher now leading a new generation of players at West Alabama, the future looks bright for everyone involved. Your feedback is important.